Can you hear me? Yes. Hello, everybody. Happy to see you. And thanks, Rhoda, for reminding me of this lovely commitment. But I already remembered, so it's good to be checked on. Yes, this is the topic is based on non-duality, but the matter or the content of it is always going to be about duality. Yes, the idea of experiencing non-duality is impossible. You can't have non-duality. You can't lose non-duality because you're that. Yes, that's why non-duality is a negation of two, because we seem to be part of a two-ness going on. And of course, like we just shared, someone just shared about belief, and then changing those beliefs. But the belief in being the one who has the belief is an interesting one. And if you weaken that, you may see that a lot of what power the things you believe in is rooted in there's a you that believes in it. Yeah. Now, because believing and not believing may be difficult to shift to different topics. Yes. But you could at least question, is there a believer? Yeah. And if there isn't, you may not be moved to do much heavy lifting, really, because you'll see the beliefs are really emphasizing the one who has the beliefs. And that's, in a way, you may have 30 beliefs, but there's only a sense of one person who has all those beliefs. Yeah, you can have 50 obsessions, but there's always just a sense of one person has the 50 obsessions. Why would you want to go to the 50 and try to change them or cut them down? Just look at the one. Yeah, see if that's true or not. If it ain't true, there'll be a loss of interest because it's taken to be true. That's why it has a lot of interest. Really, it sucks the interest in. It's like in Buddhism, they call it the cherishing of self. Yeah. So if you're not that, see what happens. The interest will be, at least a certain level of it will be taken away from that topic and will be distributed to other topics that may be more rewarding. Yeah. And the idea of spending tons of years depriving and sacrificing for that which is already available at all times with really no requirement necessary to meet it. We're the one. It's sort of like we had an old story, maybe, I don't know if anyone from the Awakening Together people have heard this, about Heaven's Door. Yeah, have you heard the story of Heaven's Door? All right, so this is a way of, getting something across. So there's Heaven's Door, and a guy works really hard to find out where it is. Gets the location, goes there, and he seems to be earnest and sincere, and he's done a lot of work, and he's been of service and everything like that. And he knocks on the door of heaven, and it opens up immediately, which was a little disconcerting for him. And then there's God. And so he looks at God and he says, obviously there's no God you can look at, but he looks at God and he says, God, can I come in? And God looks right at him and goes, Paul can't come in. So then he gets bummed out and he turns away from the door and he goes out and he decides to do more work. Yeah. To be more selfless or whatever it may be. And he practices tons of esoteric practices, travels a lot. And then he feels like he has enough resume to get in. So he goes back to Heaven's Door, knocks on it. Again, it immediately opens and there's God, which is disconcerting. It's like when my mother used to take me to relatives' house. She knocked on the door, then she spit on her hand and washed my face a little bit and pushed my hair out of my eyes. Yeah. And then I was ready to meet my uncle. The door opens immediately. You don't have any time to prepare. It doesn't come in time. It's already here. So, but that's what she used to do every time, I remember. So, so he gets back, and now he feels his chest is puffed up. He's got a lot of spiritual pride. He's ready to move into heaven. He's got plans. Knocks, and the mere formality is just having God agree, and then he's right in. So he knocks on the door. God's there. He says, God, can I come in? And God goes, Paul can't come in. So now he gets super bummed out. He just says, screw this. And he starts partying, drinking, fornicating, running around, doesn't care, listening to heavy metal music, going crazy, banging his head on the wall. And he basically seemingly has completely forgot the desire to go to heaven and knock on that door. And he's out partying, and he slips and he falls in this little water, this river, and it takes him down, gets washed up, and he gets washed up right at heaven's door. And something happens when he's getting up. Something happens, yeah. And he knocks on the door. There he is. God's right there. And then he asks, Paul, can I come in? And God says, Paul can't come in. And he walks right in. Yeah. Just walks right in. And there he went. Yeah. See, God wasn't directing the message, Paul can't come in, to him. He thought he was Paul. So he misread the direction. And as long as he was identified as Paul, he can't come into heaven. Yeah. Go in 5 times, 8 times, 10 times. He's going to get the same statement, Paul can't come in. So what happened is he didn't get the greatest spiritual resume of all time. He just realized he's not Paul. And so when God said Paul can't come in, it was a fact. Paul can't come in, and he walked right in. Yeah. That's sort of the spirit of non-duality in my feeling. Yeah. It just corrects a very subtle but persistent misunderstanding that you're somebody. Yeah. And then that somebody sets up requirements to arriving at places that have no requirements to arrive at. You've never left. You know, it's the same thing with the Course of Miracles about the guilt. The guilt that's playing out is that we've separated from God. Yeah. So that hasn't happened, obviously, but there's a belief in that, and there's a one who believes in that. And I think they're pretty much connected. And then you live as if you made a big freaking mistake. Yeah. And you're just walking around feeling really guilty because who the hell would leave Godhead? Yeah. And this is what I had this experience in with this guru. The first one I met when I was 19 or something. And it was funny. I had never had any kind of spiritual group contact, but I finally had contact, and I had thousands of ideas about it. Came in, how they should be, how I should be, how you should be. It was unbelievable. And then the guru showed up later after I got introduced to the system of meditation, and he was 11 years old. And basically I didn't, and he was presented as the Lord of the universe, and I didn't like the Lord of the universe, but who the hell would leave the Lord of the universe? So I had a lot of guilt and shame about thinking I'm going to leave, because who leaves the Lord of the universe? So I went on for 5 years until I got loaded again, and that gave me permission to leave the Lord of the universe. Do you think everything works and you finally arrive there, or did they work to a point where you gave yourself permission to be here? Do you believe all this stuff finally gets you to arrive there, or do they trigger a permission that you're already here? Yeah, you're already being here. I would say the latter. Yeah. Now, those requirements and those gates and the tolls that go along with those gates are costly if there's a lot of interest in the one who has those requirements and the gates. Yeah. So if you lose interest in Paul, I'll tell you something. Well, I'm sure most of you don't have much interest in Paul, but I mean, whatever your name is at the moment, if you lose interest in you, you'll see that it's all like reverse engineering. You don't know you're being withheld permission until you seem to get the permission. Then you realize, Jesus Christ, I've been like a performing animal, and it was never satisfying enough to the mental fucking tyrant. And even when I did a four level jump, it wasn't enough. The requirements just changed. Yeah. It's like I have to earn the place that I'm already in. It's insane to me. So this whole idea is just to question the one. Yeah, this one. And then to see how it gets really under investigated is because it's pictured as an individual singular thing. So how could that be duality? Yeah, I'm a single thing, separate from other single things. But if you watch the activity of what you are, you're completely subject-objecting all day. Sometimes you're thought about as an object by the head, and sometimes you're taken to be the thinker of everything else. So you play a role that's assigned to you that shifts. Subjects, noun, subject, object. And then when you picture that activity, you see it as one because it's seen as one body. Yeah. If you saw it as all bodies, your effect would be completely different, but you see it as one body. So you're thinking, no, there isn't two things going on. There's me, maybe entertaining two things. No, the entertaining of two things is projected as this, as one. Yeah. The two projects this one to disguise itself in a way. So now you're searching for the one as a two, and two can't get into one. Yeah. It's just that simple. It's too big. Yeah. You're too rich in self. You can't get through the eye of the needle. Yeah. You're too rich in self, in a way. So non-duality is, man, the last answer in my view. And when it's entertained, it's really the original answer. It's really what we've been looking for. And we had to learn how to knock off looking for it. Yeah. We needed to lose interest in the heroic journey to arrive at where we already are. Yeah. Lose interest in it seriously. Not by our own effort, but by just hearing an invitation that's pointing out you're not that. And then really, because you're not that, when it's starting to dawn, the withdrawal of interest and attention starts occurring. You don't do anything about it. You just observe it, and then what's expressing as you changes quite a lot. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of tricks. There's warnings that are helpful because the head's claiming to be the one, but really as a subject-object continuum in time. Yeah. That head is persistent. Yeah, you would think a peak experience would put it out to sleep. It's sort of like a fighter who is like a knockout artist, and he hits this guy with his best shot, and he expects the guy to be knocked out and stay on the mat. But the head doesn't go that way. You have a epiphany. You have peak fucking super inversion of light, blah, blah, blah. And it just shows up and says, I'm the one who had those experiences. And now you thought the experience of light would bring you light, but it actually brings you heaviness. Yeah. Because it becomes all about you. It's not volitional. It's not personal. You're not doing it. Yeah, it's just, man, it just happens. I've watched it. I've had some, Kundalini things, they've had me, and epiphanies and peak experiences, and this is the end. This was the clincher, and that, it gets up off the mat and it tells the story again. Man, what an incredible! I've experienced my own absence for 3 weeks. I mean, so I realized it was something sort of like when I was young. I moved to Florida from New York, and one of the places I stayed at, they were a nude family. Yeah, they didn't wear any clothes. I rented a room out from them. A little and I saw bugs I had never, huge, super bugs, very big, and they can fly very sporadically for 15. Well, my move in was occupied by two different bugs and come out at night, and you could hear the room going through furniture and shit. I first put candles around to protect me. I decided I was going to wait up and kill them. And baggies, there was a shoe that a lot of spiritual people wore, which was the earth shoe. It was very heavy. And I had reverse shoes. I see the floor and I hit it with an earth shoe. I put it in a bag and I'm now looking for its brother, its partner. And then suddenly I hear the bag moving and the thing just grew back, got on its legs and ran out. I moved out of there at the end of the month. I realized I was outmatched. Yeah, I had been defeated. This is sort of like selfing. You can't kill an imaginary thing. Yeah, you can't vanquish something that isn't so. Its breath is from you. Yeah, its breath is from us. We're giving it the life that it has by believing and all this stuff. And the idea of me as the one that's doing that is what I feel needs to be questioned. Not that there's a belief in it, but is it really you having the belief in it? I don't believe it is, really. I believe you're a made up effect, but not a cause. Yeah, really. So that's the idea. Movement of the head is the claim, and there's nothing off limits. It will claim peak experiences. It will claim epiphanies. It'll claim rebirths. It'll claim whatever. As long as you're still there, it will appear. Yeah.
Hi, so, Paul. Your bandwidth is low. I don't know if there's anything you can do on your end to rectify that.
I don't think.
So we didn't even get to hear.
I didn't know my bandwidth.
I guess we could do that.
Slow.
Just look at your Buddha picture.
The best one. Put it on phone. Maybe it'll be better. All right, let me try the bone.
Okay.
I'll put it on that. See if that works better.
Okay.
Good. Better.
Yeah, we hear you. Can we see you?
Yeah, I think I'm right there. I don't see any of you. Here you come. Jeez. Yeah. Now, if you had, can you see me now?
No, not yet. There now.
No?
Yeah, it still says your bandwidth is low. But because of that, we didn't get to hear your bug story all the way.
Oh, wow. That's too bad. You'll have to wait next time. But it was just like this. See, if you saw yourself reappear, if you saw from, yeah, you would realize it's not you reappearing. It's a you appearing. Yeah. Yeah. You know, like this whole thing just went blank and there was a second or two and then each one of you showed up, not at the same time. Yeah. I saw you show up. Yeah. That's obviously very clear and reinforcing I'm not you. Yeah. Because I was here and then I saw you show up. This happens in the head. You can see the selfing show up. You can see it from what you are. Yeah. Because can you hear me? Yeah. You can see it from what you are because what you are is not of time, literally. Yeah. So you're before all time or any time. So you can see, just like I was here and there was a blank screen and then each one of you showed up. Yeah. You can see yourself like that because you're not that. You are what's before it. Yeah. I'm always on. Weak bandwidth, strong bandwidth. There's a here that's never not here. When this here reappeared, I saw it start happening. Yes? That's what happens inside, or not inside. You finally see what you've been looking from. That's what happens. Yeah? You speak, cause in time, it's so fast, it has you sort of unconscious until you're looking from it. Yeah? But here I was, not unconscious. I did not show up and you were all here. There was a blank screen. I was here and I saw it. I saw each one. It's like that. That starts happening in you, in your own life. Yeah. And then information is downloaded and things become much clearer. And it's not like a lifelong toil of being vigilant, waiting for what shows up after to denounce it. No. Yeah, it's denounced after a period of time. Yeah, you just, you know you're not that which I'm seeing. Yeah, you don't turn anything to try to find out what's the seeing, because you know you're the seeing. Based on hearing the understanding of non-duality, you've recognized you can't experience it, you can't know it, you can't study it because you are it. Yeah, so what happened? All that urge to know isn't turned on what I am, it's turned on what I'm not. Yeah. And you just need a modicum, a certain level of understanding to solidify that there's a recognition to a certain point where you don't have to watch every second. Yeah. You're just awake to being awake finally. Yeah. You were the awakeness was already available, always. It doesn't come about because you show up. Yeah, it's here before you appear in the Zoom. Yeah, so it's not the one that's appearing in the Zoom that's going to find that. You're going to look at the one that's appearing in the Zoom from it. Yes, you're going to look at it from that space that wasn't filled with all this. Yet there was awareness. That's us. Yeah. So then you show up in your own little theater. Yet you've been sitting as the audience forever. Yeah. You're like the screen. Every movie that shows up and gets projected on it, yes, is never, never, never before the screen. It's very, very clear and very obvious after you have enough examples or samples that you're not that which you're looking for. You are what's looking. Yeah. You are what's looking now. Then you walk right through heaven's door, because God was just stating a fact. Paul, PK, Jacqueline can't go into heaven. It's not because you haven't done enough. It's you're too big. Yeah. Heaven is not like a long trip. You don't have to pack 30 bags. You come with nothing. Yeah. That's the whole point. So I'm sorry you missed. I'll do the bug. You want to hear it? A quick rendition of it? I was living in a nude family's place. So the people, they had some kids, they just didn't like to have clothes on. I do, so they weren't a problem with that. But I rented a room there because it was cheap. It was down in Florida. I've only been there for a few months. This is about a third place I'd gotten, maybe. I moved in, and when I moved in, there was some big bugs in Florida that I hadn't seen any like them in New York. Yeah, they were huge, and they were this like super. It was like an SUV cockroach called the palmetto bugs, and they could fly for 10 or 15 feet, but very erratically. I mean, they just were going around the room. I discovered that the room I rented had 2 occupants, and they were these palmetto bugs. And when you were sleeping, you could hear them. They were not light of foot. They would be crunching around, going through the dresser. And it was a little disturbing. It didn't really feel like them coming into your face or something. Yeah. So at first, I just put candles around the two, obviously I had a futon. Everyone did, back then on the floor. And then one night, and back then, most people who I knew with this guru had earth shoes. They loved these freaking shoes. They were about 2 pounds each. It was like wearing like a lead sled. So I had this earth shoe. So I decided I was going to kill these palmetto bugs. Okay. So I was laying there and I could hear them. And then they ventured on the floor. It was a hardwood floor. And I was up, I smashed them with the earth shoe, killed one of them. Yeah. Put it in the bag. So I'm sitting there looking for the other one, and then the bag moves. Yeah. And I open it up, and the palmetto bug had just went like this. It was flat and went, it was up and it scudded right out of the paper bag. I decided there's no way I'm going to defeat these things. I'm moving out. This is sort of the whole point. You're not going to defeat this imaginary thing. Yeah. That wasn't the point of it, but that was the story. I had a better point, but I forgot it. But it was a funny time because, it motivated me to move out like the end of the month. I couldn't take it because I surrendered. I was outmatched, so to speak. That's really one of the great awakenings that are hatched by entertaining non-duality. It's a rude one. You realize you're not going to get it. Yeah, you're not. You realize that what you are, its functionality is blind to it. It can't grab it. It can't embrace it. It can't shake its hand. Yeah. All of it, all that it does is as it actually hides the obvious fact that we are that. Yeah. So that which is hiding the fact that you are that is not going to find out the fact you are that. Yes. It's just not. That's not the agenda. So you recognize the futility of trying to get it as Paul. Yeah. And then there's a huge loss of interest in all that searching and working for that great day when I'm going to transcend. And you're just available now till Tuesday. Yeah. You're here. And after a while, you're here because you can't be anywhere else. You're incessantly on. You never get gypped. You're always here. Yeah. Not because I did an incredible spiritual gymnastics to arrive. No, I'm here. Definitely. Yeah. So that's the whole point. So that was the bug story. You heard the other stuff before, didn't you? All right. So yeah, there you go. We're all caught up now. So anyone want to share or ask a question?
I don't know if I can formulate my question, but when you say that don't effort because it doesn't get you anywhere, because where you are. I'm probably making.
I'm not saying don't effort. If you're gonna effort, just ask who it is and see.
What? Right.
Yeah. But
when I guess my question is, so if I am in awareness here now, that's it.
Yeah. Well, let me say something with the idea of don't effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to effort anyway. It doesn't matter. You just see You're not that. And now you realize the efforting has value because it leads you to the futility. It reinforces
that's right. Yeah.
Futility. Yes. I mean.
Yeah, I get that.
Obviously, after 20 years of something not working and 8 years of beating yourself up for not being enough, and that's why it wasn't working, and you come to the conclusion it didn't work because that's his purpose. His purpose is to fail, so you're left with your own devices, and then you see they're not yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to see it speeded up, but I'm not saying to anyone don't effort. I'm just saying the futility of efforting. That's all. I'm not saying effort because that would be bad direction. I'm just pointing out the futility of effort when it's being used to reinforce the one that's doing the effort. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. the don't efforting has incredible value. Out efforting. Yeah, it does. Because you're going to get exhausted, hopefully. I hope so. If not,
I know so. I know so.
If not, you're going to follow the linear path of the course, which is you're going to dream yourself out of the dream. So, and as you do, the dream will get happier. But it doesn't say the dream is goes on, you know, infinitely. It ends sooner or later. And so, yeah. So there's nothing, you can't win or lose. It's just a fact that you can't get around. Yeah. You can't get to it. You can't get kicked away from it. It's just, see, we're just, the head is just agitated. So when it reaches a still point, it gets agitated. It runs around it. It just doesn't respond like, okay, there's nothing to do. It doesn't respond to that. It just starts doing something about that. Yeah, so it's gotta, I think the greatest use it has is to reveal to you, you're not that, yeah? Or to reveal, it's not to you, but it reveal, you're not that. And then, and you know, it can be, let's say maybe it's 98% convinced, you know, then you'll go through a mop-up experiences here and there, you know, maybe you'll go to another whatever, yeah, and then it'll be done, and there'll be when you're convinced, when the mind's convinced, it's like the topic never even existed, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I mean, I've had it happen with drugs and alcohol. Something struck me sober, and for 33 years, drugs and alcohol, which was a huge preoccupation in this life, there's been no really strong feeling or thought about any of it for 33 years. That's a pretty good solution, eh? Yeah. Concerning the severity of the problem, that's a great solution. The solution of non-duality is so incredible because, you know, from the problem, you need a solution, but in the solution, there is no problem. Yeah. So it's beautiful. It's the most efficient solution because there's not even a need for one. You can't get any more efficient than that. Yeah. But in the problem, you need a solution, seemingly. But when you arrive at this as a solution, it tells you it's always been this way. So did you really arrive? No, you didn't. You didn't arrive at where you already are. Yeah. Most things that incorporate the self involved in it, there's an arriving. Yes. Non-duality doesn't play that game. When there's an arriving, it tells you it's always been this way. So it negates the whole arriving like that. Yeah. You're left without any clothes on. It's great. You see the emperor without clothes and you call it you. The clothing of the emperor is the self thing. Yeah. Yeah. We do that, you know, everyone speaks from whatever they're meant to speak from. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't have any argument with doing whatever. Yeah, I don't. Because I know mind is before all of it, and mind can turn a pickle into a cucumber if it wants. Yeah. So, you know, some people have incredible value through meditation. Other people are enslaved with the idea of being the meditator. Is it the meditation that produces it? No, it's the mind before it. Yeah. So in my case, where at a certain point, it would have been a disservice to do like formal meditation every day, though I'm meditating quite a lot. You know, I feel meditated most of the time, but it would have been doing a disservice doing formal meditation after knowing how quick the mental state claims the meditation to imply a meditator. It just wouldn't, it wasn't a good move. Yeah. Now that doesn't mean across the board it's not a good move. No, it just in how things went from where I observed them, I lost interest in all that. Yeah. Like very fast, quickly. But that doesn't mean that's what happens with everyone. But I'll tell you, if you sit in meditation and you see that which is claiming to be the meditator, yeah, that's going to have great value. But I sat a lot of times in meditation and did not see the making of the meditator. I didn't. Yeah. I didn't know self was using what I thought was going to be a freeing activity as a bonding activity. I had no idea of that until I did. Yeah. That's why I'm sharing it now. Yeah. You may not have an idea of it, and I'm sharing from not having an idea of it and having an idea of it now. Yeah. Yeah. For no other purpose but to share it. I'm compelled to do that. Yeah. I'm not going to follow your trajectory. I have faith in the message. I have faith in the dreaming oneself out of the dreaming. I have faith in the whole shebang. So, yeah. Yeah. But you asked me to come here, and there you go. I'm going to share, not to suit you, but to try to be as honest as I can concerning how it's been revealed through this. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question, Paul.
Yeah.
I just was wondering in reference to what you said about the meditator constituting an image of being a meditator, bonding oneself through the meditation as opposed to liberating oneself. And so if you could speak to how this mind constantly reconstitutes itself, because this seems to be the ongoing condition.
Well, it's an aspect of us. Yeah. So if you're here, it seems to be it can be here. Yeah. So I've just witnessed it or noticed it. You know, I had a belief that a noble spiritual way of life would have an immunity to any kind of takeover by this foreign idea or pathogen, but I was mistaken, like many thousands of other times. And I just noticed, no matter where you are, no matter where you're seeing things from, if you're still seemingly in a body, the mental state's going to claim to be the seer. Yeah. It's never seen a thing. It just claims the seeing that we are. Yeah. So wherever we are seeing from, it will say it's me that's seeing from there. Yeah. But that me has never seen a thing. It's just an add-on. It needs the seeing, which it's not of, to imply that it's the seer. Yeah. So there's a claiming. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, you ever see that movie, Ripley something, where the guy can't, have a yacht or shit like that, but he takes the identity of someone who does have a yacht and is getting married to this beautiful woman, whatever. Yeah. And of course, obviously he has a lot of feelings because he doesn't feel like he deserves it, but there's been something it doesn't have the ability to have it itself. It claims that which allows that value to be there. Yeah. So this is what happens. The seer has never seen a damn thing. That's the truth. And if any people are into the Course in Miracles, just read the first 7 lessons and they explain that pretty well. That you see only the past, which is not seeing whatsoever, yes? So the seer, the idea of being the seer that's derived by the claiming of the seeing doesn't get the quality of the seeing. It just claims the quality of the seeing. Yeah. Yeah. And basically, when you're somewhere, which has to be basically a somewhere comes about by a body locale. Yeah. Because if there wasn't a body, it would just be everywhere. So you look around and there's a body, you can be pretty assured the mental state is going to be in the act of claiming that wonderful seeing and making a seer. Yeah. And now, yeah, now you think you've arrived somewhere, but it's like it's like an oasis in a way. Yeah. If you go to the oasis, you realize there is no water and there's nothing there, but you'll keep seeing the oasis. Yeah, it doesn't disappear. So, yeah.
It sounds like you're describing beliefs, the casting of beliefs is the reconstituting of an image. There's no image there, but we believe that we're this.
Yeah, the image is reconstituted, and then what gives it life is belief. Yes. Yeah. But it doesn't, the belief doesn't do it really. The belief verifies it, so to speak. Yeah. It's a suggestion. It's being implied and insinuated or presupposed. But what gives it life is us. Yeah. Yeah. What allowed Paul not to go into heaven was that which we are being identified as Paul, basically. Yes. So now Paul had the ability to keep you out of heaven because you were identified as it. It has no ability to keep you out of heaven, yeah, at all, unless you believe it, yeah. Or believe it. I hate that, you'd have to be very, very, like walking on glass to try to say it correctly in language. I'm not into that. So it's sloppy, but I hope you get what's being implied. Yeah. Yeah. When I say you, it's not you as Paul and whatever. Yeah, it regenerates itself because it's not there. So it has to appear to be there. How does it appear to be there? By being remembered. So when something's happening, the way self verifies itself let's say there's the I am. In the mental state, it's the I was Paul, I will be Paul, therefore I am Paul. So it's a constant remembering. We're thinking about you in the future is a remembering of self, and thinking about you in the past, pictured as a body, is a remembering of self. Yeah. So time is really a vehicle to remember self. Seriously, because it has to be constantly remembered because it's easily forgotten because it's not true. It doesn't exist. Yeah. It's like if you blow it up for a split second, it appears, and then the next second, it has to constantly keep blowing up to look like it has the same continual shape, so to speak. So the head remembers itself as a body. Yeah. So it's worried about a body in the future, which is remembering self. It's ruminating over resentments of the past, which is remembering self. When's the remembering self seemingly happening? Now. Yeah. Yeah. So I was Paul, I will be Paul, therefore I am Paul. That's the mental logic. Yeah. So as I see it.
I just got to share with you, having given the explanation you just gave, I always wondered about the explanation in the course about the tiny mat idea as this idea that the Son of God remembered not to laugh. And I was always puzzled over, what do you mean he remembered? Not like he forgot to laugh, but he remembered. And he just gave an explanation that for the first time this hearing, that made sense in some way, that, okay, it's the remembering, the putting the pieces of the constructed psyche, the member, back together, the imagery, and constantly projecting it into the future so that that image doesn't get forgotten. And that brings into, yes, the regeneration. It's a continual process of regeneration. And so to unplug from that, we're just...
See, to unplug from that can't be done by that. So the act of identification thwarts us because we try to stop doing something we're not doing. Yeah, it's truly, that's the whole, that's how it, that's the stubborn thing people don't get. They can't get out of that as that. Yes. Yeah. So the real getting out of that is not being in that. That's if you want to have the experience of being out of it, it actually comes by not realizing you're not in it. That's how it comes. It doesn't come from it escaping successfully, because self can't get out of self. Yeah. The feeling.
Is that the same thing as? Is it the same as saying that's the seeing of the claiming? The seeing of the claiming process.
Yes. The seeing of the claiming. There's a seeing of the claiming instead of looking from the claimed. Yeah. 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 Many of us start our day and proceed in the day looking from the claimed. Yeah. What was claimed was there was a seer. So all day, the interpretation of the day is like the brain, like it says in the Course, the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. That's what happens. Yeah. It interprets everything to the body, as the body, for the body, with the body. Yeah. So when you entertain being free, you're entertaining being free with the body.
Could I ask you, well, I don't know if you'd call it a personal question because there's no person there anyway, right? But so what would be an example of your first thoughts of the day?
Well, as of right now, I don't remember. I think I don't know really. I have some obligations in the morning, so I have to feed the cat. And then as soon as I open the bedroom door, a 65-pound dog jumps on me. So I would think I've got to remember to gird my loins before I open the bedroom door. So it's for physical safety.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, but basically, usually I'm way up before I have any thoughts about being up. Yeah. Yeah. You're always awake, right? Yeah. You're always awake. It's like, and there's not a first or a last thought. There's just thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. In time, you can say, yeah, when I woke up, this was the first thought after that, but it's really not, it's a not linear thing. So, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you know how in the ocean, certain fish live closer to the surface, and then others, their environment is maybe 200 feet below, and then others are very, very deep. Yes. And probably never the two shall meet, so to speak. Yeah. So obviously, when there's awake dreaming, there's a lot of activities that you seem to be on some level in the ocean. Yes. Dealing with certain things. Yes. But the bottom is what we're of, yeah? The bottom is what we're of, and that permeates the other layers of the ocean, yes? Because it's all the same water. So when you're busily doing what you're doing, the context of that is the same context that you're completely aware of when you're in a trance, let's say, or something, yeah? Nothing changes, really. So, yeah, you may look like you're swimming, you know, near the surface, but nothing basically ever changes. You're of the depth, so to speak, yeah? And of course, the head, when it's on the surface, would think, because it lends a reality to the surface, that it has to keep remembering it's of the deep. It doesn't, yeah? Because the surface is just an appearance. It's coming and going, and it'll be like it never happened, yeah? But the bottom part in this analogy or example isn't coming or going, yeah? It's here. It doesn't have to broadcast that. It's a fact, yeah? So I believe, from a sense, whatever I'm doing isn't exiling me from the fact of that depth, yeah? Whatever my head is engaged with doesn't mean I'm of that surface environment, yeah? Yeah. I remember a friend of mine's very much into Nisargadatta Maharaj, that there was a book, I Am That, coming from him. And Nisargadatta Maharaj basically was just moved by great faith in the words of his teacher, and he didn't do squat. It was so obvious when he heard it, there was nothing else to do, yeah. And then he got a seat assignment and was sharing with people and stuff like that. So I'm sure he was selling cigarettes and doing all this shit, but there was a sense of that ocean deep, the depth, yeah? That's what brings a lightness to your day. Yeah. You don't have to be remembering it all day on the surface. The surface is coming and going, yeah? You're there before it, you're there when it's happening, and you're there after it, yeah? You don't have to remember that. The head has to remember this idea of self, because there isn't one. You don't have to remember what's available now. This hasn't gone anywhere, yeah? This is the dilemma. We're used to a mental logic and a brain development, and we think, and it may work with like finding a pair of pants or doing this or doing that. It doesn't work. You can't use it to find what you already are, yeah? So this is what has an incredible value, is see the fundamental failing of what you've been relying as, yeah? Just to get to, see it finally, and just, you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna, whatever. The quicker the better. So I don't want to go into it the whole time. I think I shared about Ramesh with the personal, impersonal, and I was there in India, and he was using me as an example, and he says, "Well, do you have a home?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "All right. So let's say that the home is the impersonal presence, and your personal presence goes to work. Do you chant, 'I have a home, I have a home, I have a home,' every minute I'm at work?" No, you have a home, yet you're at work. Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No matter how heavy that and far the head is going, you're not going anywhere. It's not like you stop the head. It does what it does, but its reality ain't the reality. Yeah, you're leaning towards the reality that allows you to see its reality as really an incredibly riddled with bogusness interpretation. Yeah. It's like an addiction, really. The mental state is addicted to this idea of being a someone. Yeah. So what? Yeah. Yeah. You're not that. Hallelujah. If the addiction's crazy and you're not that, you'll probably end up in a place where it has to get changed or altered. They're gonna change your way of life. All the while you're still that. Yeah. You were that before you got drunk, during you got drunk, after you get sober. Nothing has ever happened to change that fact. I think that wears well. You'll see it after a while. You'll travel well with that. Yeah. I mean, you can't always have your little tools of preparation. Sometimes you gotta, be caught with your pants down a lot. And it would be nice if you were light on your toes and flexible, that you could just roll with how shit goes, I mean, seriously. Yeah. I told you the sample of that guy. I lived on a rich property in Australia, and he would ride around his property at 5:15, telling all of us to be quiet because he would sit and meditate at 5:30. So he was giving up the peace of the moment with the hopes of having a peace later. That was insane to me. And it was based on all of us on the property being quiet. Of course, you know what? Life's going to have one of us or a few of us making noise to irritate him even more. That's just how it goes. Haven't you ever had that happen? I need a quiet moment, and then the door knocks, the dog comes in, the cat meows. Something's trying to save you from yourself, and you see it as a burden. Why are they disturbing me having my peace? Because it ain't it. Yeah. Yeah. I had the teacher I was with when I was young said, if you can't be at peace on Fifth Avenue, yeah, then forget it. It doesn't matter. Yeah. If your peace is only based on a controlled environment and shit like that, then yeah. So.
Hey, Paul,
Yes.
our time is up.
Thanks. I was rambling there. So. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this, Sonny. Yeah. Yeah.
Goodbye, Paul.
Goodbye. Yes. Oh, Inca. That was so definitive. Jesus, almost hurt my heart almost felt something. You're not leaving me, Inca, are you?
No. In fact, I'm in Novato next week.
Oh, really? Well, get in touch with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you my number. Write it down.
Okay.
Ready? Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. Remember, I'm giving Inca my number. Inca. It's 415.
Hey, maybe we should start.
I'm gonna make a mistake. It's Saina.
Got it?
Great, fantastic. Thank you. We've got Connie, we got Jacqueline, Rhoda. Thank you for the reminder, Rhoda. Yeah. We've got Nick. Nice to see you. Oh, Rick. Nice to see you, Rick. Nick. Oh, Nick. BSU. Yeah. Nice to see you. We got George. The iPad's very small. We've got Rhoda. I just saw you. We got Linda, Julian, not Sina. Yeah. Kathy, some phone numbers. Thank you. Thanks everyone for showing up. And I'll see if you're interested in other talks and stuff. ZenBitchSlap.com. Go to events. They have all the Zooms and stuff. And I'll see you next week. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.